We have been born and bred into a society that believes lies, to an extent that those lies end up being the truth. And that is what is causing chaos in this world now. Currently, or in the times that we are living in, we have lost what we call moral convictions. Most women wouldn't want to disclose this, but we go through these things as young girls, as young women, as older women, that there are sometimes situations where we are forced to terminate, but we are afraid to come out because pastors are watching us and are going to convict us, and you die with this thing, and you don't even do the proper cleansing. Are you truly willing to assist me in fighting my own battles, or are you only interested in the benefits that comes with the relationship, whether it be the sex or whether it is the material gain? And we have as a people, or as people, we have gotten accustomed to lying that it even makes sense to yourself, the liar. You begin to believe your own lies, that no, I'm not into this for material, or rather I'm not into this for status. Do not be surprised when your relationship gets defiled. It is the energy that you carry. Your relationships will keep on dying, but our ex always sells us away. Good afternoon once again, and I just want to welcome all of ourselves here in today's episode. Once more, let me thank all of you that are subscribing, that are also liking, as well as engaging with Mama Pinky on this podcast. It's highly appreciated. I really enjoy the engagements, and I love how some of us are also encouraging. As I said, this is not only about me, it's also about you assisting me in finding, in assisting me, assisting myself in finding myself. I hope I make sense. Today we're going to talk about why does the truth hurt? In most relationships, if not all, the types of ships that we have, the truth is the main thing that affects negatively or positively the growth of a relationship. And I was just wondering as to why does it hurt, and yet we know that whatever it is being said, it is the truth. And I sat down and I asked, it's because we are living in a world wherein we have been programmed to believe lies, especially our own lies, than recognizing the truth of our weaknesses or strengths or of our situation. In most relationships, those relationships, they are broken because of lack of truth or absence of truth. There are many relationships that thrives on lies. Now, it tells us that a lot of us, if not most, we are born into societies that have programmed us to make us believe that only the lies that we make them to appear to be truth make sense to us. They become a reality. I'm going to look firstly at the love relationships. When we become involved in a relationship, most of the time some of us believe that it is best to expose who you are from the initial beginning of a relationship, but some of us would say take time to expose, or rather reveal certain things about yourself. I always ask as to what will bring the difference, unless when you go into such a relationship, you truly are not looking for a relationship that is permanent, and which is also part of the lies. Because I think as soon as we begin to be involved in a relationship, we should honestly state the status of our relationship, whether it's a help me through relationship, whether it's a rebound relationship, whether it's a what do they call it, a situation relationship. We need to be honest and stop lying to above all, ourselves. The reason why I would want us to approach it this way is that, for example, we recognize levels of gender-based violence. And when you look at the cause of these gender-based violence incidents, it's because of lies. It's because of deception. It's because of those that are the perpetrators end up believing their own lies, that I can have Joe as a husband, but I will have Mike as somebody who fulfills a particular role. Are you being honest? Are you being honest? Instead of saying, Joe, much as I'm married to you, much as I've been involved with you for so many years, you have outgrown your purpose in my life. You see, the thing is, we have taken everything as to be permanent in this world. And even yourself or myself, we are not here permanently. I am of the belief and the opinion that you come into my life for a specific season, for a specific purpose, even if it is marriage. Wherein that I'm a pastor. Yes, I know I'll be looked at a different, with a different or skeptical eyes. However, it is a fact. Even pastors get divorced. Even pastors get divorced. Holy pastors or well-known pastors get divorced. Well-known pastors are in relationships, extramarital relationships. Now, why do they go to extramarital relationship? I spoke to somebody who was speaking about the 80-20 rule, where in every individual you find 80% of what you need and the other 20% is found outside, according to that particular person who had watched a certain movie. And it made sense to me. However, I had questions to say, does it then always say you should always go look for 20% outside, instead of trying to check where is the 20% lacking in your relationship and build upon that, because you already have your 80%. We fail to recognize, as people that are coming into a relationship, that before we met, we had battles that we are fighting. We have battles that we are born into, and those battles are worsened by the previous relationships that we entered into before we met others. Now, there are battles within battles. I'm not so sure if you get me. When I am born into a particular family that is facing a particular battle, either a habit that is encountered, which is called generational cases or generational patterns. Already, when I'm born into a particular family, there are patterns that I am born into, that I am growing into. And as soon as I start having a relationship, I meet Jack. Jack has been born into the same setup of a family that has got its own battles that they are dealing with. Now, we come together and we interact. As we interact, we transfer the battles of one another, especially through the deed, sex. We transfer that. That's why we will talk about soul ties. That as and when we do the sex, we exchange and transfer and commit fluids. Now we become one. Now, the same spiritual battles that Jack is fighting, the same spiritual battles that I am fighting, we have interchanged them. Somebody was asking me in one of the shows that, but it is a natural thing. Yes, it is a natural thing to engage into the deed. However, we must always be willing to accept the challenges or the consequences that comes therewith. We should always, yes, it's a natural thing and it's a beautiful thing to do. It's a lovely thing. It relieves us of stress. It brings us, intimacy makes us very close. However, we must be willing to face the consequences that come with the exchange and the transfer during the deed, both spiritually and physically. Now, when we are in a relationship, ne, and we don't want to tell the truth as to the patterns that I am born into, we are further creating a problem in our relationship. If I am born into a family where I am struggling with promiscuity, even if I can be born again, and I do not tell you that, love, I am struggling, I am born into this family where we are born into, or we are struggling, or there is a pattern of promiscuity, I'm preparing my partner to say, this is my weakness. And now, whilst expecting my partner, whom I have chosen, I'm going to be very truthful, my partner begins to judge me. Now, my question is, are you truly willing to assist me in fighting my own battles, or are you only interested in the benefits that comes with the relationship, whether it be the sex or whether it is the material gain? And we have as a people, or as people, we have gotten accustomed to lying that it even makes sense to yourself, the liar. You begin to believe your own lies that, no, I'm not into this for material, or rather I'm not into this for status. But our ex always sells us away. But when you are a defined person who has sifted and say, look, I take responsibility of my actions, wherein I have been involved with Tom, Jack, Harry, Mark, what, and we exchange the deed. Or as a woman, I take responsibility of having done ABCD against my body, and I did not do cleansing. You are getting your partner into a spiritual battle that has got nothing to do with them. What are you saying, Mama Pink? I'm saying, let me talk to the issue of us as women. Most women wouldn't want to disclose this, but we go through these things as young girls, as young women, as older women, that there are sometimes situations where we are forced to terminate, but we are afraid to come out because pastors are watching us and are going to convict us, and you die with this thing, and you don't even do the proper cleansing. As a pastor, they would say, call the name of Jesus. Yes, it will be called, but we must know as to when it is called. But there is ways of African cleansing, not that you have to go to a traditional heal. To a witch doctor. Somebody corrected me to say there's a difference now. In this case, it will be a traditional healer who will clearly cleanse you of the spirit of death that happened. Now, if you do engage into a relationship without exposing this truth to yourself, not to your partner, to say, I have delayed or I have failed myself in terms of cleansing this matter, do not be surprised when your relationship gets defiled. It is the energy that you carry. Your relationships will keep on dying. I'm talking this from experience. I'm 56 years old. It had to take me courage to observe my life. And I have said in one of the episodes, every person that I meet, whether they can love me how much, they will end up rejecting me. And until I came to that realization that it is not about them, it is about me, I then started the journey of facing this reality, of investigating who am I from my father's side. Because fortunately, I know my mother's side, as I have exposed or spoken about in one of the episodes. But I am on the journey right now of finding out who my father is, what is the pattern in their family lineage. Now, when I have discovered, I did go home, I did check all of them, there is this rejection thing. And now it tells me that somewhere along the generations, along the lineage, something went wrong. And it has got to be stopped by me for the benefit of my grandkids and those of my relatives that I am meeting now. If I am willing, look, everybody has got a responsibility for their own lives. Now, the thing is, we are being misled Now, by a lot of teachings that will tell us that as long as you have done this, it will be done. I was talking to my pastor this week. I said, my pastor, I agree with the teachings, but the teachings that we are doing as pastors, are we truly liberating people? We are busy telling them about Jesus that is coming. It's a fact. They know that Christians know that Jesus will come, but they are in the same dilemma. They are in the same bondage, yet every Sunday they go to church, and they came to church looking for a solution, but at church you'll be told about going to heaven. But when you begin to tell your pastor or whoever, the elders of the church, about your struggles, that I'm struggling with fornication, I'm struggling with promiscuity, I'm struggling with masturbation, it becomes an embarrassment. Why? Because we are not made free to talk about our truths. Why? Because the world has set a high standard that a specific type of people or a specific group of people that behave in a particular manner are sinful. Can we sit down and really introspect? Are they sinful, or are they struggling with a particular behavior that they don't know? When we listen to these people, always they say, I just cannot control myself. And when you approach somebody, that somebody would say, pray. Do you pray hard? Is it fair? Address the issue. That yes, after prayer, as soon as I say amen, the Spirit says masturbate. Then it tells you that it is deeper and the truth must be revisited. We must go to the root cause. You must go. Look, as a pastor, I don't know you. I only know what you tell me, but your family lineage, your elders in your family have got a responsibility to tell you who you are. I've come across situations where in the church takes over the life of a church member and the family members are discarded. The family history is discarded. And I always look at people and say, I wonder where you are going to get the truth if you do not go to where you have been born into. Check your history, dig the dirt out, and then begin cleansing. There is no way that you meet me today and you don't want to go back into who you are and you think that I will help you. In one of the episodes, people were crying about stagnation, and I thought about it during some days when I'm just home. I would just say, but what is causing it? Have these people visited their family patterns as to... But after some time, there will be this particular stagnation. I saw it at aunt's home, at uncle's home, at whoever's home, who is a family member or a relative. It should tell you that this thing is circulating. Christians would call it spirits as well as the spiritual healers. They will tell you it's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's an energy that works with you. The minute that energy works with you, it should tell you that there was a contact point. And for that contact point to begin to exist, there is an opening, there is a door. You don't need to have been trained to be a seer or a sangoma or an inyanga or an sidupe. It is quite obvious that whenever you struggle with something, it may be your own doing, having engaged with the wrong people. The wrong people, not that they are wrong, but those people themselves, they're struggling with certain battles. How then do we solve this particular thing? It's not a one-day process. I always tell people that deliverance is a process. This deliverance of standing at an altar or before me as a pastor and I tell you out in the name of whatever, Yeshua, whoever you believe in, it is not true. Deliverance, it tells you it's a process wherein you identify. After identify, you see the root cause. You go into the healing process and find your own coping mechanisms. We can never cope the same way, even though we have been through the same experience. We can't. That's the truth that I say. People don't want, we as a people, we don't want to tell the truth. Let me speak to men. You'll find that there's this particular group of men. or this sector of men, that this man has got 14 children to 40 to 20. At the age of 40 or 45, the children are already 20. Every woman that you interact with will give you a child. Is it normal? As a man, yes, you should have used protection. But some men have not used protection, but they don't even have one child. Now, if this pattern begins to be prominent or eminent in your life, you go check your father. After your father, you check your father's father to the 4th generation. You check, but this particular pattern has been existing, has been coming time and again. Something should tell you that I need to stand up and stop this thing. How do you stop it? You need to first know the history of the family. The truth may hurt you. The truth may hurt you. We have families wherein cousins sleep with one another. It becomes a family practice. Cousins marry one another. Yes, in some instances, it would be said that it was traditions then, but now, as the traditions, as they were traditions or practices in our family structures, ultimately they have a negative impact or a positive impact. Maybe the positive impact would be to retain the wealth and the dignity and the practices of the family together. However, in some instances, I'm not saying always, they would say if you sleep with your own cousin, you will give birth to a disabled child. We have seen that. Is it a myth? I don't know. I've never heard that, but I have observed that in some families. Now, hence I'm saying, why are we always running away from the truth? Even when you go to medical doctors, guys, when you go to medical doctors, the first thing that they will do, they will ask you of your family history. Do you have a family? Do you have a history of arthritis? Do you have a history of high blood? Do you have a history of rheumatism? Why? The medical world is already telling us what we know spiritually, that these things, they are always bloodline related. Now, even certain behaviors, promiscuity, it can't do. Nobody in their right mind would just want to be promiscuous. No one. No one in his right mind would just not get gratification out of their partner, but would enjoy self-servicing. No one. Something is just not right. But when we say these things, some people are not comfortable. I'm of the belief that we have stagnated because we are so afraid to face the truth. When I was coming with my crew here, I was asking somebody that, we were engaging and we were speaking about this thing. A person will tell you that, but you are not, school, you are not educated according to the system of the world, and you take it personal, but yet honestly you are not. And instead of saying, yes, I'm not, but I'm surviving, I'm breathing the same oxygen, I'm not asking food from you, we take it personal. We have been conditioned to react and not respond. To say, okay, do you have a solution for me if I didn't go to school? Maybe you've got an alternative which I could use. We have been born and bred into a society that believes lies, to an extent that those lies end up being the truth. And that is what is causing chaos in this world now. Currently, or in the times that we are living in, we have lost what we call moral convictions. Now, you sit down one day and say, have we lost our moral convictions? And according to who? It was the society who came up with the moral convictions. So it is the same society that can break those moral convictions. I know you will not love this truth. But if these young, the people of this era, they say we no longer ascribe or subscribe to your moral beliefs, we choose to establish our own, we begin to call them names. Yet, Rona, those that came before, we established our own. Sometimes it's important that we learn to mind our own business. I always say we can only guide, but you guiding a person does not necessarily mean that a person should agree with you. However, what it means is that the person that you are guiding must live with the consequences of their decisions and choices. We have many relationships breaking down to an extent that you no longer want to talk to one another. Is it necessary? Really, is it necessary? We need to come to a point that when we part ways in relationships, we sit down, we apologize to one another of the expectations that we have. Do you know that what I've discovered in all the relationships, be it the parent, the mother, the father, the boyfriend, the husband, expectations. We expect a lot from others besides ourselves, outside ourselves. We don't want to be held accountable for our actions or our decisions or our associations. And we don't want to be truthful to say, look, I am doing this and I'm not going to stop doing it because you are in my life. It's because of ABCD. And you give another person to take a decision without hating you. Now, what do? We wait that the situation becomes volatile. It becomes a burning issue, and then we end up hating each other with words. We fight, and tomorrow we no longer talk. Yet before we met, we could even say hi, or we didn't even know one another. The minute we realize that any relationship, be it a mother relationship, a father relationship, son, sibling relationship, love relationship, marriage relationship, it's our responsibility to sit down and say, look, at a particular point, you served a purpose. Now, at the level where I am now, you no longer serve the purpose. Will it hurt? Yes, definitely it is going to hurt. But what is best is that you have told that particular individual the truth. Know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Instead of going about gossiping and planning about it, that this is how I'm going to hurt you, we are becoming malicious. And when we proudly stand, we say, now I will not let anybody treat me that way, wherein we bring in the subject of ego. I was looking at the definition of ego, that ego is about the self-imposed self-respect. According to you, according to me, it will never happen. According to me, that is ego. But it can be done by another person. But the issue here is how capacitated are you in terms of handling a person who treats you in a way that you do not expect, and you go out okay. Can we move to the level of being truthful? When you come to a person say, I love you. If it's about the deed, tell the person that it's about the deed. If it's about me, the person fathering you, tell the person that I need a father in my life, but you can have conjugal benefits. We are going to have a less violent way. We can have campaigns of no to gender violence, whatever, based violence. We can have campaigns of no to violence, no to drugs. How many cases are we having daily? Instead of saying, yes, we have a drug problem, but who in our own country has got so much power in the borders to can allow this? It's ourselves. And we are afraid. We want to point fingers. It's ourselves. It's those that have got power, money. It's those that are positioned and placed in those offices that are doing these things. The last person who's selling them is just but a pawn in the game. I was listening to one case in court, and I was engaging someone with regard to that particular case, that a lot of cases are being withdrawn or lost or thrown out of court because some people do not want to take responsibility towards their obligations. And we blame, as a lame person, I will blame the system. But there is a particular individual who has been paid, who has been appointed as per the prescribed research method, where a person must have these particular qualities. But the same person fails us. And we are afraid to point them out and say, you are failing us. We are afraid to tell pastors in our churches to say, But the doctrine is no longer relevant today. If I, as a black woman, if I, as a white woman, I am still feeling oppressed, I am still not capacitated spiritually, then what is happening? Your doctrine is not liberating me. Because the purpose of the doctrine is to make you liberate. We are believing this lie that we are being fed. We need to revisit. We need to go back and compare that which worked for the former, as well as that which is working currently, and it's no longer which is working currently, but that which is destroying our kids. The way we run our families, myself included, guys, myself included. I'm not attacking anyone or criticizing anyone. If there is inconsistencies in my house, I also need to go back and say, but I influenced and perpetuated the situation. That is the truth that will set us free. In relationships, somebody was talking about, I think we also touched it, men, how men are not working. And as women, we are working. Those that are young, Rona, we're no longer working. But those that are working, you get yourself involved in a relationship with a man that is working. Tomorrow, you pound it against him that you are not working, you cannot provide for him, for her. That's why I'm doing ABCD, or that's why I'm going for bless her so and so. But yet the man, when he met you, he told you, I'm not working. But because then you were hungry and desperate for the deed, you lied to the person. Young girls, we really need to introspect ourselves. Young men, as well as older men. Where I live, there is a pattern of these men that walk into a woman's life and they use a woman plainly, and they boast about it, and it will be groups of men seated somewhere and they boast about how they use women. If it was your daughter, if it were your daughter that you are doing those things unto, you would go mad, because I know fathers are very protective of their kids. But when you do it to another woman who's not your daughter, it's something that you are able to boast about. Why are you not honest? When you come to Pinky and say, Pinky, I have these challenges financially, I have these challenges, I can't find employment, give me this, I'll give you this. Now, we spoke about women being emotional and men are just, how are you, Kanasan? Men, they're looking at getting what they want. When they are done, they go. And now, you push women to do certain things, to exploit energies, to manipulate energies. And women are witches. I'm not condoning what they are doing, but I'm saying the level at which we are being pushed as women. Judgments. Accusations. I was talking with them to say, men have this tendency of calling women this SEFEBE word. And I always ask them, you have the audacity to call women that word, yet you have done the deed with the same woman. You are part of it. And women, they entertain this nonsense. When a man he speaks ill of another woman, they even give out the other history. Instead of asking this man that, how many women did you engage with? If we can count them, it's the same number of men that this woman did. So you both are in the same boat. The only thing that is going to set us free from stress, from insecurity, from ill associations, from envy, from malice, it is the truth. You see, it is good when a person leaves you for the truth than lies. A person that when the relationship ends and goes and talks bad about you to others, those others that are listening must know that that same person will talk bad about them. It's a cycle of abuse. A malicious person will always cause malice to happen wherever they are. I'm not going to be long. But I'm saying to all of us that are commenting, to all of us that are doing these shows, to all of us everywhere in your own corner of office, be at church, be at work, be in the society, how truthful are you? You can't come to me and brag about you being successful whilst you know that your success was about having knocked Joe. You can't. You are not successful. Because if I can be engaged in that same game, I would achieve the same thing. You can't come and tell me about you being better than me when you have had them. You are not. But what I love about this is that as long as we avoid the truth, you can bring in policies, Mr. President. Churches, you can pray. You know, even in churches, we lie. Testimonies, you'll see a person lying, and that same person, you were with them last night. And as the elders, we keep quiet to say, but that is not the true reflection. There is no truth in this world. I think if it's there, it's 0.00000000001. There is no truth. Are we really willing to change the world? The truth divides. And a high divider, it assists us to remove the veil upon us, upon our souls, upon our spirits. Thank you.